Asia and welcome to our channel again. In this video we are going to talk about abnormality as a whole. Generally speaking, what comes in our mind when abnormality is talking about the way we are brought up or our mindset has been structured during our own culture and socialization. So let's answer this question within ourselves. What does abnormality mean? By the time I was giving my school leaving exams, uh, if somebody would if somebody would ask me, or if somebody would talk to me regarding abnormality, and when we as a whole, when we kids would talk about, when we youngsters would talk about abnormality, then only one thing would come to my mind. It was like something abnormal and going to mental asylum, but it's not abnormality, right? And after my school leaving examinations, and I took psychology in my A levels and got into major psychology in my bachelor's and running into clinical psychology masters, what I came to know is abnormality is something slightly different from the statistical frequency. It's like normal people, if they have IQ of 94 out of 120, then someone who would be abnormal would have slightly uh, down in their IQ, like 80 out of 150 or 50 out of 150. So the slight deviation within any statistical frequency of people as a whole would call the abnormality. So let's talk about what causes abnormality. Genetics or neurotransmitter? Neurotransmitter, generally we have so many neurotransmitter running in our head. Serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, cortisol. And if there comes some imbalance between all these neurotransmitter that we are having on our brain, then this causes genetic disorder. Genetic disorder, as explaining genetic disorder, this disorder transforms from generation to generation, from top to bottom, from top to bottom. And other psychologists claim that abnormality occurs due to the negative and irrational thinking and assumption that they have. For example, if XYZ is suffering from schizophrenia, if XYZ is suffering from bipolar disorder, what other psychologists claim that it is all because of the irrational assumption and negative thinking that the person has been facing towards his daily life. And it's developmental in process. It does not happen over time. It happens over years, since childhood, since adolescent to old age. And there are other psychologists who claim that it's because of the irrational conflict between ego and superego and the use of defense mechanisms. The defense mechanisms are repression, oppression, projection. It's like defending ourselves, and this technique results into the variety of disorder. So let's talk about the most common kind of abnormalities that people have. One is depression. I have already described about this depression in my earlier video. You can please see the link below in the in the description. After depression, we have anxiety disorder. So let me talk about anxiety disorder shortly, in brief. Anxiety disorder is all about your affecting our nervous system. If I have palpitation, if I have tremor, if I have fear, and bad memories associated within something, then it's what we call anxiety disorder. If, for example, if I don't like maths, I'd not like to be in a school. I'd not like to face my maths teacher. I'd not like to go to play with my friends within the premise of a school. And whenever somebody would ask me, why didn't you go to school today? Wasn't your maths test? Wasn't today your maths test? Then palpitation would start. I would be like panting, I would be numb, my hands and feet would be cold. So this is what anxiety disorder is. Anxiety disorders attack your nervous system and make you anxious all the time, make you nervous all the time. We have phobia and OCD. Now, talking about OCD, it's obsession and compulsion. You are obsessed about something, you keep on thinking about something so much, and compulsion are the activities that you carry out to reduce those obsession. So, for example, in the movie The Beautiful Mind, there's the Nobel Prize winner mathematician. He also had this obsession compulsive disorder. Not only that, he also suffered from schizophrenia, depression, OCD. He was so much obsessed with maths that he was so much compulsive towards carrying out different mathematical tasks. It was often shot during the movie that he would be practicing enormous mathematical calculation all the time. He would forget to sleep and forget to eat just because of the mathematical calculations. This is what obsessive compulsive disorder is. I will be explaining these all things detail in my upcoming videos. And then we have phobia. Phobia is the irrational fear about something. There are so many phobia in the world running in the globe. And we do have one or two phobia within us. We are phobic. So many people have, most of the people have erotomania. Erotomania means fear of death, fear of dead people, fear of ghost. Or many people, I have seen most of my friends claustrophobic. They would not like to go to the enclosed spaces. They would not like to go to the lift. So many people had numerological phobia. They would not see particular numbers, odd and even. And many people, even me, I have phobia of snakes. We almost feel extremely down, extremely upset when certain things that we are phobic to comes in front of us. Now let's move on to schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is the state of mind where the person breaks down the relationship with the reality, relationship with the external world. It's like the person has his own bubble of thought, his own bubble of knowledge, his own bubble of world where he lives inside, he eats inside, and he doesn't know what the external world is facing. So two most typical things that the person faces who has schizophrenia is hallucination and delusion. A schizophrenic person is either depressed or either he has anxiety disorder that leads to schizophrenia. So when a person is schizophrenic, he starts hallucinating. It's like he starts seeing things. It's like the bugs are crawling on the screen, on his skin, and it's all the time like there are auditory hallucinations. He starts listening voices, and then he starts looking everywhere. These faces, whatever thing he has been looking, and then some sensual kind of reaction also are faced by the schizophrenic individual. It's like he feels cold or he feels hot all of a sudden, and he has a feeling of fantasy and imagination running over his head. He has a particular kind of thinking, a set of ideology about everything. And most of the schizophrenic individuals are very much insecure about family, insecure about colleagues, work, home, school, or university, whatever the person is associated with. He constantly feels like some kind of group is behind him, and there are so many group that would like to kill him or are threatening him, but these all are the result of his brain and imagination. So schizophrenia is the most complicated and serious kind of abnormality that we'll be talking about. And the final one is addiction and impulse disorder. I hope everybody would understand by this term, addiction and impulse disorder, because today in this world, in this era, I didn't think anybody has not seen someone who are addicted to anything else. Yes, we all are addicted in some way. Most people are addicted to alcohol or cigarettes or drugs or some other, what we call it, weed. and we will be talking about variety of addiction that the person faces. On the addiction, we have alcoholism, and impulse disorder are this impulse disorder and this compulsive disorder is very similar. Those who are impulsive, they would like to carry out those things that they think. For example, we have pyromania. Pyromania is an impulsive disorder where the patient would like to set everything on fire. It's like he or she feels so happy when he or she uh, opens the fire and then puts on the kerosene and puts uh, whole house ablaze. This is something that happens because of depression and because of the hallucination the person has. Any pyromanic individual, what he does is he often goes to the open area, and then he has a lighter or he has that matchbox with him, and then he starts that matchbox, turns on the lighter, and then he sets everything ablaze. So this is what pyromanic individuals do. Pyromanic individuals are so much addicted towards seeing fire and seeing a blaze, and they're like so happy when that whole fire burns. They feel like, oh, I'm relieved because I just saw the fire burn. Then we have kleptomania. I want to talk about a myth associated with kleptomania. In our society, when any individual who looks like a rich person, he goes to the shopping mall, he looks very well dressed, he has good hair, he has good appearance, and then he goes to the shopping mall and then he picks up something and then he runs. So many times we have witnessed it, and many times we feel that why did the person run away with that thing? He looked well educated, he looked from a well family, but why did he do? It's because of the kleptomania. So this is a disorder in which the person he tries to control but he cannot. And what he does, he steals things, he shoplifts and runs. It's not because he does not have any money, he does not have any penny to buy the thing, or it's not like that. If there's a person Y and he's kleptomanic, but he's from a well rich family that he can buy lots of land and lots of palaces over in the city, but if he is kleptomanic, he goes to the shopping mall and he just takes that bag of chips and he runs away. It's because of the kleptomania that runs within him, and it's not his fault. It's because of the disorder that he has been carrying. So we have to identify whether it's deterministic or whether it's the free will. And alcoholism, pyromania, kleptomania, and we also have erotomania. This is something very interesting. Erotomaniac youngsters, erotomaniac individuals feel that everybody is in love with them. It mostly happens within this age of 12 to 20, when the person thinks that if everybody is in love with me, even the teacher, the one who is teaching him or her, this erotomaniac individual thinks that everybody is in love with him or is attracted to him. So alcoholism, pyromania, kleptomania, erotomania, and these are the common impulse disorder that psychology has dug into. So what I want to explain is abnormality and going to mental asylum is so different. Why would we send someone to mental asylum when he or she would be so much violent towards family, towards everyone, or that he or she is very suicidal? Then we would send them to mental asylum. But this thing as a whole, it's like having a headache or having a sprain. If my ankle sprained, then I'd go to the clinic and I'd just get a spray that would scrub away my pain. So what I want to say is, if appropriate medications are given to depressed individual or schizophrenic individual, if appropriate therapies are given to them, then there's 200% chance that they will get a new life. They will have their diseases cured. So let's change this mindset of thinking that those who are diagnosed with psychiatrist, uh, those who are diagnosed with psychological disorder, that now they are not going to get a good life, they are not normal, they will never ever return work, or they would never ever get their degree. Let's not have this mindset, because once we are going to change our mindset and once we are going to learn what these abnormalities really are, then it will be very easy for us to accept the fact that abnormality is nothing that great.